Ba-ba-ba.
Ooh.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. You went to school to learn, girl, things you never knew before.
Like I easy, except that to see.
And 2 + 2 makes 4. Now, I'm gonna teach you
Teach you.
all about love, dear.
All about love.
Take a seat. All you gotta do is repeat after me.
I say ABC.
It's easy as 1, 2, 3. I'm singing the do, re, mi, A, B, C. 1, 2, 3, baby, you and me, girl. A, B, C.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Yeah. This is Jorge Dixon
And how we doing?
here with WNTT Radio. All right, now we're looking at the final bracket of the 4. We have the Southeastern bracket with the number 1 seed Pontiac Wizards.
I love this team.
Mm-hmm.
2 losses this year, both of them to Cincinnati.
Great team.
Both close games. They've
Great
actually
team.
one game that really sticks out is how they when they played the other number 1 seed Pittsburgh Gamblers, probably the weakest of the 4, and they won by 13 points.
Great win.
Very impressive to me. I don't know what else to say. This is a very good team coached by Bingo. They beat the rivalry against Anchorage. They beat Anchorage in the rivalry in the exhibition games.
Big win.
That was
big
big.
Win. Yeah.
I don't know what else do you have to. What else do you see?
Great team, top to bottom, great players. Led by point guard Anthony Morabito or Morabito.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Bingo doesn't get upset by our mispronunciation, but
Bingo kind of scares me a little bit, so I'm not sure he probably will be upset about that.
he's a good guy though. I think
Yeah.
You got Terrence Hoyt, Chase Seeger, Jerry Roby, Armando Buckley. Great team, top to bottom. Can play defense, especially Armando Buckley. They love that down interior defense. They're just good at it.
Let's look at Trenton for a little bit. 10-8. Is that the worst record in all of the in the whole tournament?
I don't know, but they won the play-in tournament. That's good enough for me. You know, that's a good team.
Yeah.
I don't care what their record is. They play in an ultra tough Conference 3. Tough teams day in, day out. You always got Scranton. You always got Hartford. You always got Pittsburgh.
I agree. They've played all the best teams. They've played all the best talent. They've beaten teams they're supposed to, but they've also lost to a lot of teams that they're supposed to.
Yeah. And
this would be, to me, a game that I think they're supposed to lose. The one game that impresses me is the 2-point loss to Montgomery.
Yeah.
That Montgomery's a great team. I almost just want to pick Trenton here just so we can hear Bingo freaking out in this in the message boards like he always does about how he's disrespected and everything. We hear it a lot. I can't do it though. I'm definitely going with Pontiac. I think they have a ton of talent. I love Terrence Hoyt. He's one of my favorite players in the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
I think Pontiac will win big here.
I do appreciate Coach Bingo. I know he has a hard time with some of the coaches on the board, but I think overall he's a good guy. He's really brought this team back. Regardless of what coaches say, he's brought this team back from the dumps.
It's true.
Like they were bad. They were real bad. And he's made an NTT championship caliber team out of them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
I'm not gonna bet against Terrence Hoyt. The guy wants to win too bad, though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Pontiac.
I do too. Let's move on to the 8-9.
Should be an interesting game. You got El Paso and Coach Why Me. Always dreaming about Doug Morrow. What do you think about Doug Morrow?
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. I don't think about him as much as Why Me, Coach Why Me.
No, I don't think anyone does.
That's all I can really say about Doug Morrow. But let's look at Flagstaff. I love Larry Bird.
Can't shoot that well.
No.
He's an assist maker.
Nicholas Wallace he's always been one of my favorite.
And McKinley Benjarno.
Yeah.
Oh, man, he's a great player.
Yeah. Overall, I think that these teams are extremely even all the way around. I think I look at the freshman class of Flagstaff, and I say, what happened there? They're being led by all their seniors. I think this is going to be a good game. I think the senior leadership of Flagstaff will pull them through in this tightly contested match.
I'm not afraid to say it. I don't like Flagstaff. I don't think they're a good team, really. Um, I just don't. I don't know why. Like, they beat Santa Fe somehow, and I don't understand how. Because I just don't think this team's very good. They look at the first game of the season. Who'd they play? Who'd they play? El Paso. And how much did they lose by? 7. I don't think much has changed. They switched their philosophy. They're not a zone team anymore. But, in that game,
This is what I see. I see two completely different teams. Game 1 through 4, lost all 4 of them. Since then, they've been on a tear, a complete tear, and won 13 out of 14 games. Okay? That's got to be kind of impressive to you.
Yeah, but look at the teams they beat. Lost to Santa Fe. They haven't won any games they should have. They beat Tacoma. Okay. Like, the start of the season, they played some tough competition. But once they started playing average competition in Conference 32, I haven't seen anything. Like, they beat New York. Okay. Beat Tacoma.
Okay, El Paso, I know they lost to them in the first game, but El Paso's not premier NTT talent here, okay? They're good.
No, they're not. I will agree with you. But they've already beaten them once, okay? Yeah. And I think they're going to beat them again.
Hard to beat the same team twice.
It's hard, but I think they will.
Okay. I disagree.
Well, moving on. Yeah, we have, in the 5-12 matchup, we have the Panama City Bangkok Bangers against the, they are playing the Decatur Ralph Naders. One of the best names. We always mention it. We always love that name.
Every year.
It's just a great name.
We also love their small forward and shooting guard in Jeffrey Whitefield and Javon Mascarenas. 2 great scorers. This team knows how to score, getting 85 a game. Their defense is very average. And then you look at Panama City. They know how to score as well. They're from their starters to their backups, they're all guys that can put the ball in the hoop.
Yeah, and I look at first things first. You look and you see Abdul Davila.
Yeah.
Just one of the greatest defenders you'll ever see. 6'11", can play, can match up on any player he wants to. What do you think about this matchup?
This. Let me just say one thing that we haven't even mentioned. You look at Panama City's record; they're 17-1. They're playing an in-conference game right now, first round, to Decatur, who handed them their only loss of the season. They just beat Decatur again by 20-some points.
Yeah,
30 points.
It was a revenge game without a doubt.
In the conference championship, and they're getting him again. Very, very ironic.
I think this selection committee likes to do this,
Yeah, they do. They enjoy it.
I respect the selection committee for what they do. They put in a lot of hard work.
I do too. All I want to say is I saw these 2 games.
Did you go to them in person?
No, I saw them on television, both games.
TiVo?
Yeah, TiVo.
Yeah, it's a great tool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, since you watched them on TiVo, I was the analyst for the first one. I didn't get to do the second one. I was too busy covering the Conference 12 championship. Great finish there. Wow, great finish. I was really fun. Anyway, but Decatur played great in that game. That first game, they just tore him up on defense. From what I saw on the TiVo, they couldn't stop Bryce Boyer in the second one. Bryce Boyer went off. He just couldn't miss, it seemed like. But it seemed like their whole team couldn't miss, Even Jason Robinson kind of doing a little... Who does he remind you of?
Jason Robinson, he really reminds me of a version of Dion Waiters.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I just really see that. Shooting 8 for 12 off the bench, 16 minutes, 18 points. That's impressive. I think he's going to be a hard guy to stop. I think the Bangkok Bangers just have too many weapons.
They're good.
And they're good. They're going to win this game.
They've been raiding that Conference 6 like it's their job.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to move on to... I'm picking them too, but we're going to move on to the 4-13 match up in Albany, the Window Makers. I mean, I can't say... I'm not going to say too much about that. And they're
It's the Widow Makers, not the Window.
Oh, that's a good point. I always thought they were the window makers.
I don't know. I think that's really, really funny.
I always thought they were the window makers.
Because the window makers would be such a great team name. I'm sorry. I gotta get a hold of myself. Okay.
I'm just laughing because you're laughing, Howie.
I just think it's so funny. Because I hope a team's named the window makers now. It's such a great, so intimidating. You just come with your glass panes and your putty, and you just stick it in there, I guess. Okay.
Get over yourself. You're
you're
professional.
Albany, they have Al Moose.
Al Moose.
One of the best players, I think. One of the best players at his own position.
Great.
Irvin Hayworth, an excellent shooter who shoots at a very high percentage. Scratch that, under 50%, but a great shooter, and he only scores 9 a game because they have so many other great shooters.
And Ben Barksdale just grabbing all the rebounds.
Here's my take on it is I don't believe that I'm sorry, who are they playing?
Seattle.
I don't believe that Seattle will have the defense to stop these guys. I love what the Sea Turtles did. I respect so much that they came out of their that Conference 30.
Mm-hmm.
I think an 11-7 record in Conference 30 would translate into a 16-2 record elsewhere. To be honest with you, but I just really like Albany's ability to score and put the ball in the hoop, and I'm picking the Widowmakers here.
Yeah. I also like the window makers. But you also gotta give props to Charles Kaufman. Just a great player, great person in general. Really knows how to play the game. He's a great point guard and leader for his team. He puts the team on his back. And Darren Bronco, great player. Stanley Collins. They're tall, they're good, but I just think they're a little too slow to keep up with the window makers.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be a great game, and if Charles Kaufman can get off, I think they have a good shot at winning. But I just feel like Albany's gonna take advantage of the defense of Seattle.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Totally agreed. Yeah. So the next matchup we have the Yakima. We have Yakima Blazing Burrows against the Durham Archaeologists.
Yeah, I like.
Is that Archaeologist?
Yep, it is. I love JT Moore, the point guard. He's a shooting first point guard. I think he.
But also knows how to pass. He's averaging 3 assists and under a turnover a game.
Yeah, I do like him, but okay, I just can't. I can't stop looking at Yakima and their skill coming out of Conference 30, the conference we were just talking about, at 15-3. Their number 1 rated sophomore class with Michael Valadez and Robert Burgos. Along with Mr. Peter Lara.
But one of the stories of the tournament has been Yakima's recent. They went from undefeated, number 1 undisputed team, to losing 3 in a row. Yeah, and that was mostly due to their coach, Senior Valdez, not putting in, not taking out Cody McKinney. There was no excuse for it.
Totally inexcusable. And, there are a lot of mistakes you can make as a coach in this league.
Yeah.
I really don't like that one. You got to see the guys hurt. You got to know.
Yeah.
You got to see that. You got to make your adjustments. But
when a player's hurt, you take that man out.
Yeah. Yeah. I do know that Cody's probable to come back in the first round of the tournament. They might keep him out or just, make him questionable. Available, but maybe not start him. Because I think they feel confident coming in this matchup here, but come on, coach.
Yeah.
Know your players, know what's going on.
I'm really upset. Like Cody came up to coach before each game and he said, "Coach, I can't play," and he's like, "You're going out there." And after 2 minutes, each game, he'd get hurt, he'd fall on the ground, and he'd have to be carried out on a stretcher.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's just like we said, it's inexcusable. But back to the tournament.
I've heard rumors he's getting fired because of this.
I wouldn't go that far. He's an amazing coach, an amazing recruiter.
But that's inexcusable to me.
Yeah.
When your player is playing out there hurt, when he's hurt out there, and you don't take his stance, that and just turn a blind eye to it, and you think that him playing for your team, for getting out there and starting for your team, is more important than your team, than the safety of those kids out there, that's when I have a problem with that. This isn't right. This isn't right.
You know, I see exactly where you're coming from. I want to, be the defender for Coach Senior Valdez right now.
You can't defend him.
You know, he loves his kids. It was a mistake. He apologized publicly for it, okay, and to the family. But this is one mistake. I think we can go past this. I just look at this lineup. Peter Lara, one of my favorite players in the whole game right now. Just so talented. I love him. I think he's gonna do really well this tournament, and I think Kima will go far because of Peter and Cody if Cody comes back. So,
I mean, I'm just so upset because Cody even had inspirations of making it to the CBA. He's a senior, you know. He had really good stats prior to the coach ruining him by playing him for 2 minutes.
Well, those stats would stay.
Not when he's playing the games. But anyway, I'm gonna pick Yakima. I don't even care. I mean, they don't need a coach. I'd fire him right now if I had the choice. But we're gonna move on. I'm getting too emotional over this, and I'm an emotional person.
You're very emotional. We all know that.
So we're gonna move on. We got Evansville, the Aces, great team. You look at Glenn Thomason, Donald Numbers, Eric McCoy, Christian Meyer, Donald Bruce. This team's just stacked.
Yeah.
Playing against
Spokane, the Spokane Aces Tide.
The Acer Tide, very comparable to Murray State in the tournament. Murray State lost one game. These guys went undefeated. They both got 6 seeds, and that's due to a 254th ranked strength of schedule.
That's just terrible. I mean, I think Coach Hermask is going to see that and realize that, we might want to play some tougher teams in the future.
I mean, and he played in the gamut.
Yeah.
But he just played sucky teams in the gamut.
Yeah. I mean, Peoria is not terrible.
Yeah.
They did get kicked out of this tournament, barely. They were one of those last 4 out.
Yeah.
I really do like Spokane, just like I'd like a team in Murray State, but I think they're just getting screwed over playing
a great 11 seed.
This is probably the most, oh man, my favorite matchup of the first round.
Mm-hmm.
I love Evansville. I don't know how they slipped so far down to an 11. But that leadership, that senior experience,
mm-hmm.
and everything like that, I mean, I think it's hard to pick against these guys.
Yeah. And, I mean, Dennis Nelson is one of the guys no one talks about. But he's good.
Oh, Dennis Nelson. He'll be I don't know. Give him 2 more years and he'll be one of the best players in the
entire league. Jody Simpson out there just getting 2 steals a game. He's only 5'11", but who cares? He's great. Like, this team's talented.
Yeah.
Top to bottom.
And that's one thing I do see happening is I think that Glenn Thomason is going to struggle against Jody Simpson.
Mm-hmm.
Really
Even though
struggle.
Glenn's a lot taller than him. I just don't think he can keep up with him.
I agree. I think...
Who are you going to take in this game? Evansville, they have experience. They have one of the probably the toughest conference in the league. And senior leadership and great players. While Spokane's got Jody Simpson, talented players, one of the most talented teams in the league, but they haven't played anybody.
Yeah, and it's just kind of a shot in the dark because we haven't actually seen them lose a game, so
mm-hmm.
it's hard to see how good they really are. But I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna say Evansville pulls this one out.
Yeah.
Buzzer beater maybe by Eric McCoy. I can see that happening.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about Eric McCoy.
He's just a baller.
Eric McCoy is so talented.
He's
I love the
baller.
man. But what I see is Eric McCoy's best attribute is defense. And when he's going up against Jose Clinton, Clinton's not going to shoot a ton. Clinton's going to play good defense. I like Spokane in this matchup. I just think Spokane's just so talented, and I like their team. I love Albert Baxter playing the point forward along with Armando Finch playing the point guard,
Yeah. One thing I love about Spokane is the upside, the tremendous upside about this team. No, they're not losing one starter.
Mm-hmm.
All 5 starters are coming back. They're looking to have a really good class coming in as well. So this team could be really scary the next couple of years. I think this might be 1 year too soon to really make a huge run, but as I said, who knows? They're undefeated right now.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
So let's move on.
Moving on, we have the 7 and 10 matchup, in which we have the seventh ranked Lubbock Rim Railers against the 10th ranked Orlando Running Rebels.
Yeah, I know Orlando's lost 5 games this year, but they've played an extremely difficult Conference 12. I love Jarrett Cruz, the freshman. He stepped up big time this year. Sean McLeod, my favorite player. He's a senior as well.
We have a lot of favorite players.
Three seniors in the starting lineup. Really, I love the experience. I love that Coach Jay Tarkianen.
Yeah.
Sweet 16 last year, or was it Elite 8? I believe.
I think so.
One of the, I'm sure you know that, Coach Jay. But I know they beat Indianapolis second round. We can talk about this another time.
Here's what I want to break down. Coach Jay Tarkington had a false alarm of a heart attack earlier this past week. He was poisoned by some of the coaches, and he wasn't very happy about it. As a result, they lost to Pensacola, proving that Pensacola's plan worked. And because of that, they came in those last 2 games, and they played some zone. They switched up their tempo from fast norm to they switched up to slow and zone instead of playing man, which is a big change for their team. We're not sure if Coach Jay Tarkington will be back for this first NTT game. How do you think that's going to impact their game against Lubbock?
I think that it would impact them tremendously if they did not have 3 experienced seniors in the starting lineup who have been here before and know what they're doing. I think that's huge for them.
Elroy Walsh is a coach on the floor.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, totally.
He's that guy you want to draw up the play in the huddle. You know?
I just think, let's talk about Lubbock for a little bit. I think it's harder. I mean, last week they played El Paso, who's an average team, I think a 9 seed in this tournament, and they lost 62-89. They came back and beat them to actually make this tournament.
Yeah, make the tournament.
But they probably would have made it anyway. I'm not sure. It's very questionable.
Hard to say.
Very questionable.
They lost to the Moon Trillium.
Yeah, just kind of bad losses.
Yeah.
I think that the conference altogether is just weaker, and I think that's going to really hurt Lubbock going into this game.
If there's one thing that Lubbock can do, they can score.
They can.
They got a lot of players averaging over 10, and they even got a player on the bench in Eitan Amos. Really reminds me of a blooming Dion Waiters. Did you see that?
I could see it. I could. Totally.
I know it's kind of out of left field, but
funny you just decide him out of all the guys.
Yeah, I think he is though. You know.
Yeah.
And he's just a great player. You know. They're a good team. What I like a lot of things about them. They got a lot of steals. They play defense. They don't turn the ball over. They rebound and they just score. But I think senior leadership trumps it in this last game. Elroy Walsh, Sean McLeod, and Jarrett and Sung Rim from Korea.
Yeah.
I got them winning this game. What about you?
I do too. I think Orlando's going to win. It'll be close, but they just have more experience than Lubbock.
I'm actually going to take Sung, the Korean sensation, with hitting the game winner.
Wow.
They'll win by 2. He's going to hit a game-winning long 2-point jumper. He's been just inspired lately by another Asian American playing basketball in Jeremy Lin.
Yeah.
So we can change it to Sung Sain or I don't know, something like that.
And we can let's move on. That's a good transition into our next game. Talking about the 215 seed in the Utica Rippers and Sung's good buddy Sang. his other past tense form friend Sang Grass from Korea.
Yeah. Sang has also done that, but like the difference between Sang is he's a tall guy. He loves blocking shots. He loves he's not a good shooter, but Sang's pretty good. I like Sang.
Yeah, but at the same time, let's look at this 215 matchup in the Carson City Fighting Perch.
The defending champs coming in strong with a team that actually isn't coached by a girl. Believe it or not, people. It's true. It's a boy. He took over for his niece or something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
I'd say man.
Man, he's a manly man.
He's a man's man.
I wasn't sure for a while, but now I know he's a man's man, especially after he won that NTT.
Yeah, grew some hair in his chest.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's.
And hair under his armpits too.
Yeah, they lost two good seniors from the championship team in Jamie Reddy and David Lucier, who were both the leaders of that team, I'd say.
Yeah.
But coming in this year,
didn't get a great recruiting class.
Didn't.
So,
I mean, let's look. If we look at the strength of schedule for Carson City, 159, not that impressive.
And they've beaten 2 NTT teams though.
That's huge for me. They've
both,
beaten
both top 25.
Yeah. And they're 6-0 against top 100.
Technically, it was the same team, but and their only loss, not a good loss. Not a good loss at all.
Yeah.
They lost to Del Mar, the Warriors. I don't really know what's going on in that game. I really don't. They just showed up flat,
Yeah, I mean,
got in some foul trouble, and the Warriors took advantage of it.
Yeah, Utica's in this tournament because of the conference tournament at the end. They've won 5 in a row. They've been impressive games. I love the win against Cambridge, but it's gonna be hard for them to fight the Fighting Perch in the first round and get that W. I'm going Carson City here. I don't think I need to talk about it that much.
I'm going to go big. I'm going to take him big. 20, 30 points.
Okay.
So, yeah. Moving on, we're going to go with a team to put on upset watch. We're going to take a sleeper team, and we're going to take the champ. And by the champs, I don't mean last year's champs. I mean this year's champs from this bracket.
Yeah.
So, who do you got this year as the team to put on upset watch from the Southeast region?
Well, right away, I see the 4-13 game. I know I picked Albany to beat Seattle, but I do really want to just kind of zone in this game and make aware how good Seattle's chances are in this one. Kaufman is a stud, and if Kaufman gets hot, I can really see Seattle pulling that upset off. And yeah, what about you? What do you see, Jorge?
This isn't the team I picked, so I don't think this team's gonna win. I mean, I don't think this team's gonna lose, but I want to put them on upset watch. I want to put a little fire under Bingo's seat. Trenton's a good team. Trenton won the Conference 1 championship. I mean, they won the play-in tournament to get in this. They're not a bad team. They beat some really good teams to get there too. So, do I think Trenton's gonna win? No. But do I think Pontiac should be worried? Yes.
Okay.
I think Pontiac's gonna win, but I want to put a little fire under his seat.
All right, I feel you. It's easy for me to pick my sleeper team. That's the Evansville Aces. I think they're gonna beat Spokane. I think they have a really good shot also against Yakima if they play them in the second round. After the beating that Coach Senior Valdez just took from Jorge over here. But I love Evansville. I love their experience. I think they have a really good chance to go in places. My champion out of this region will be the Pontiac Wizards. I just think they're so good. If they lose, I think it'll be a huge surprise. I think they have the experience and the tournament experience from last year and just the will to win. I think they're going to come out of this region on top.
Yeah, this region is very talented. Yakima is undefeated with Cody McKinney in the starting lineup. So that's hard to bet against. I think my sleeper team is going to be actually from the same game that Sam picked in Spokane or Zertag. I know it's hard to say they're going to be a sleeper team when they're undefeated, but I can really see them going to the Elite 8 and maybe the Final Four if they get a little luck on their side. I think the 2 seed's kind of weak, even though they're the champs. And I see them going to the Elite 8. Now, for the champion, I'd love to pick Spokane, but I'm going to agree with Sam. I picked them to put on an upset watch, but I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to rally around that first place win, and they're going to get to the Final Four. And, Coach Bingo's going to get a 10-year extension on his contract. I don't know if he'll take it because maybe he wants to join this coaching carousel, but yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, a lot of coaches would not like to see that happen. I think that just really spurs on the Wizards altogether.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
they are taking on the mentality of being the hated team almost. Like
Yeah.
they like being the team that everyone's rooting against. You know, the Miami Heat, as
Yeah.
of I think is a very good comparison.
Yeah. I think Deion Waiters is a really good comparison.
Yeah.
For Pontiac here.
I think he's a good. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're a lot like Deion Waiters.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's all we got.
Jorge Dixon,
I am Howie doing.
and we will see you on the flip side.